Well, hello. I have a couple days at home, and for that I am actually very excited. So much to do around the house, including making some stuff here in the kitchen. I have been wanting to make these for a couple of days now, and I'm making time to do it today. We're gonna make some muffins as well as some chocolate chip cookies. The muffins are using some frozen berries, so I will share the recipe with you. I'll have it linked down below, but I was searching for something to use up some of my frozen berries, and also I just like them. So that's what we're gonna make, so let's get to it. I already have the oven back here preheating to 425. We're gonna do the muffins first. All right, so I have a 1/2 cup of butter in here. It is unsalted, and I melted it and then let it cool, because that's what the directions said. So I actually just it's been out like room temperature, and then I put it in the microwave on like half power for about a minute, and that made it not super hot. To that, we're adding 1 cup of sugar and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm gonna do a little more because I have a lot of vanilla. So I'm using more, and I like vanilla. Just mix that up. Butter, sugar, and vanilla. I mean, I wouldn't actually just eat this because I feel like that's not okay. But it smells amazing. All right, we're gonna add in 2 eggs. See how bright yellow those are? Oh my word. It's the difference with, or almost bright orange. Yeah, bright orange. The difference with farm fresh eggs versus just the regular store-bought ones we have here in America. Now we're gonna add in 1 cup of milk. The recipe said you could use buttermilk or regular milk. I used almond milk, which to me is regular milk. That's what I use. We do have dairy, but I don't drink a lot of milk, and almond milk, well, we don't use a lot of milk. We don't drink milk. And almond milk just lasts longer than cow's milk. And since we're not going through it very fast, I've just been doing that for years now. All right, we're gonna set this to the side. I'm hoping I didn't pick too small of a bowl. Is that a smaller bowl? We'll see. But we're gonna do our dry ingredients. And so we need 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. We're adding in 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 1 tablespoon of baking powder. I will admit that seems like a lot, but I'm not gonna argue. I almost forgot, I gotta add in 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And if you're using salted butter, you'll just decrease the amount. And we're gonna just whisk that together gently because it's pretty much filled up the bowl. Add in half of this mixture and combine it really good before we add in the rest. If you hear any odd noises in the background, my washing machine is going, and my laundry room is pretty close to the kitchen. So I have the door to it closed, but man, when it gets to those spin or drain cycles, they're loud. It says, which I'm finding to be true, it just wants you to fold in the flour, so I'm not using a mixer. And it says that the mixture is going to be, you wanna go just until the flour has been absorbed, then it says do not mix any further. So do not overmix this batter. And it said it will be thick and have lumps. And I can already tell that it's going to have lumps, but at least the recipe tells you that so you don't think you're doing anything wrong, you know? Today is a Monday, and I'd actually really wished I'd had these, made them on Friday, so I had them for the weekend, but I didn't. So I'm gonna enjoy them, and then I will probably freeze some as well. Then maybe I'll still have some for next weekend. Okay, don't overmix, Leanne, don't overmix. So this recipe says to use 1.5 cups of frozen berries straight from the freezer. I'm gonna be chopping mine up a little bit just because some of these are really, really big. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm using some frozen strawberries, and then I also have a cherry berry blend that has blueberries, sweet and sour cherries and strawberries. So I'm gonna be doing a mixture, but any bigger pieces, I'm going to chop them up. Be careful when chopping frozen berries. You can do it, but just make sure that you have a sharp knife and be careful. And I'm just gonna use my 3 tablespoon cookie scoop. Wow, I don't know. It said to put 6 tablespoons in each cup. And I'm thinking that's not happening. I mean, I know these are kind of like fuller tablespoon scoops, but like there's no way I could put 2. All right, well, I can't double it, I don't think, but I'm going to carefully spoon in more batter into some of these. Because I got a good bit left. If I have to, I'll do a second round in the oven. The recipe says something about topping with sparkling sugar as an option, which I don't have, but I figured it may not look as pretty as sparkling sugar. But I can still sprinkle some granulated sugar on top. And then we're gonna bake the muffins for 5 minutes before reducing the temperature of the oven to 375, and then we will bake for another 20 to 25 minutes. And while they bake, I'm gonna clean up a little bit and get started on the cookie dough. All right, let's see if we need to put them in for more time. Oh my word. These look so good. They're large. Trying to not puncture the muffin with my grippers, but also not to get burnt. We're gonna do this without getting burnt. It's the goal here. Oh my word. Look at those. I'm thinking they're done, but we'll find out. Seems perfect. We're gonna let those rest for 10 minutes and then we'll take them out and let them cool on a rack. In the meantime, we're gonna get our cookies going, and I need to change the temperature down to 350 for the cookies. And I haven't really even gotten started on them yet. While the muffins were baking, I got my dishwasher running, which you might hear. I still have some dishes to hand wash, but I'm kind of using this counter space. And I switched my laundry from the washer to the dryer. So I've been working on some things. So let's get going on the cookies now. I do have my melted butter here, melted but cooled. It actually looks like it's cooled quite a bit, but I actually need to put this aside. We're gonna start with the dry ingredients. Now this is one of those recipes, and I'm not saying they did anything wrong. It's just not my style, where they're like really particular on how you measure your flour. So maybe I'm making the mistake. You know, it's like spoon it so that you don't have, it's not compact and all that, which I get. But I usually just try to like scoop it from my container so it's like fluffy, and then I grab it. Half a teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, 3/4 of a teaspoon of kosher salt. I just always use my pink Himalayan salt. Although sometimes I do a little bit less because I feel like the pink salt is a little bit strong. So this recipe also calls for flaky sea salt, which would be amazing on cookies. I haven't ever bought that before, and I'm not waiting for my chocolate chip cookies. But I might need to add that to my list to look for. Where do you get that? Like Walmart, probably? I don't know. All right, is that all the dry ingredients? Yes. I'm just gonna mix that with my fork. I feel like that's kind of like whisking. I might actually have to pull out my whisk though for the next step. To our 1 cup of melted but cooled butter, we're gonna add a 1/3 cup of granulated sugar. I need to get back to getting my sugars in containers because using the bags is annoying. And a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. And we're gonna whisk this. It says for 1 to 2 minutes. That feels like a long time, but you know, I only want to break so many rules of the recipe. We're gonna add in 3 teaspoons of vanilla. It calls for 2. Like I said, I'm going a little extra. And 1 egg. Now with this recipe, different than the muffins, it says to gently fold until it is combined, but leaving a few streaks of flour I don't know. Will I know when there's a few streaks of flour? How many's a few? I don't know. I'm gonna not overthink it. I have yet to make a chocolate chip cookie that is inedible. I've made some things that didn't look right, but they've always been edible. It does say to not overmix. So maybe they want you to leave a little bit of flour in so that when you go to mix in the chocolate chips, you're not over mixing. That's like the finish of the mix. We're gonna go with that. How many chocolate chips? Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I don't usually measure chocolate chips. It's not my style. Chocolate chips and cheese, preferably not in the same recipe. I don't measure those, but I feel like 1.5 cups is a really, really good amount. All right, there's 1/2 cup. Honestly, I think if I were to eyeball it, I would probably have stopped there. I don't want to overmix it. I'm just doing a little bit more. I feel like 1.5 cups, and I'm a big fan of lots of chocolate chips. I feel like that's a lot. I just do. I probably could have stopped at 1 cup. You all be the judge of that yourself. Again, I don't really think it's important to measure chocolate chips, but they asked for so many. I was kind of curious what it would look like. And that is a batter loaded with chocolate chips. I think my 3 tablespoon cookie scoop is too big. So I'm just gonna use a couple of spoons. My smaller cookie scoop, just the last couple times I've used it, it was really hard to get the dough out of it. Something went wrong with it and I need to buy another one. But I feel like every time I find them, it's for it's not for the size I want. So this works fine. This is what I always used to use, just a couple of spoons. I did the muffins first because I was gonna eat one of those first, but I don't know. I'm kind of ready for a cookie. And I feel like cookies are easier to eat hot, like fresh from the oven, whereas muffins really need to be cooled, especially with the fruit in there, because that's gonna get really hot. Holy cow, these have a ton of chocolate chips. Are you seeing this? Are you seeing this? All right, here is the first pan done. Let's see, how long? Oh, I should have finished reading because it says for a large 2-ounce cookie scoop or a 1/4 cup measuring cup is preferred for this recipe. Scoop 5 cookies onto the baking sheet. Well, maybe for the next tray. 12 to 15 minutes. I'm going to check them at like 10 since I'm doing these a little bit smaller than the recipe suggested. All right, I'm gonna do a quick little tidy up here. I mean, I'm still using this, but wash some dishes and get some things taken care of while those cookies are in the oven. Here are the muffins. They are now cooling on the rack. They look, can you see how big they are? They look amazing. I'm definitely eating one of these tonight. All right, so a couple of them did touch, but not bad. I did them a total of 13 minutes. I think I'm doing 12 for the next batch that's actually in the oven. So, but yeah, they look good. I'm just gonna let them cool for like maybe 2 minutes and then I will move them to a cooling rack. I am going to try these cookies. I'm going to try to go for a small-ish one because I want to try them while they've cooled, but they're still somewhat warm. I have a feeling these are going to be good. But look at how many chocolate chips are in these. Do you see these? And I didn't even quite do the full amount. So do chocolate chips based on what sounds good to you. This cookie is everything a chocolate chip cookie should be. It's a little bit crispy on the edges. I let it get a little bit brown. Super soft in the inside. This is really good. I'm gonna eat this, probably work on some laundry, and then I'm gonna share with you a quick, simple dinner that I'm doing tonight. I'm just doing a buffalo chicken salad for my dinner tonight, so just thought I'd show you that. It's nothing crazy, but I am making my own ranch dressing, so I'm gonna share that with you. My husband is away tonight, so I know some people get weird or get concerned if you share that, but I don't share my videos real time, so my husband's home when, you you'd be seeing this. But my husband's away and so for work, and so I'm not making like a whole dinner, so I'm gonna use some leftover chicken. We're gonna do buffalo chicken salad, and I'm gonna start by making my ranch dressing. I started making my own ranch dressing because I don't like mayonnaise, and this is a non-mayonnaise ranch dressing. And some bottled ranch dressing tastes a little mayonnaise-y to me, and I really, really don't like mayonnaise. So this isn't complicated, but I am gonna share it with you. So if you don't like mayonnaise, maybe you'll wanna give this a try. I'm just mixing it in a bowl. I'm going to do my best to just make enough for my salad, but I don't know. And I do make my own ranch seasoning mix. I don't need to make any tonight, so I guess I'll share that with you another time. But it uses, it's so good. It uses dried, cultured buttermilk. It's a powder. And I don't actually measure this. I do have, I think I usually say, hang on. I don't know where I first found the seasoning recipe for, like where I found it from, not for. I've been using it for so long, and it was before I had a YouTube channel, so I didn't really think to write it down. So 2 to 3 tablespoons is about the equivalent to a ranch seasoning packet. I don't probably follow this, but I must have figured this out at some point. A half a cup of sour cream, 2 tablespoons of the mix, and 2 to 3 tablespoons of milk. That's how I thin it out to make it runnier. If you're just using a dip, making a dip, just do the sour cream and the seasoning. I will share this since I did pull it out. If you want to screenshot the recipe. So good, it's my favorite. I really like a strong ranch flavor. I love the dill, I love the garlic, onion. Anyway, and I'm using almond milk because that's what I have. And that's it. I'm just gonna mix it in this. I don't usually have it super runny, so it doesn't like pour pretty on the salad, but it tastes good. And that's what really matters. I'll save it if I make too much, but I'll also just use it to dip chips in or veggies. But I don't usually make like a bunch ahead of time. I just make it for, one time. And I just keep going until it's the texture I want. And if you add too much milk to get it runny and it loses flavor, then just add more of the seasoning. I definitely made more than enough, so I'm just snacking on it with a chip. Really good. But I would make it and kind of pay attention to your measurements if you feel like you need that. Then you'll know the next time what the ratio should be for your taste. All right, one more before I get into my chicken. I'm putting on gloves because I gotta get in here and pick off that chicken. And I wanna get all the chicken, but I also don't want it underneath my fingernails. So I've got the rotisserie chicken here. Don't need the skin. I won't need all of this, but I'll probably pull it all off. But super easy way to do some buffalo chicken, and we love buffalo chicken everything. If I don't have a rotisserie chicken, I'll just do some chicken breasts and I'll throw them in the oven. I usually just season the chicken breast with like salt, onion powder, garlic powder, pepper if you like it, if you're new here. I'm not a huge pepper fan, so you're not gonna see me adding pepper to my recipes. I'm gonna add in some of this. This is our favorite. It's a buttery buffalo Kinder sauce. So good. We've tried just a plain buffalo and it's not as good as a buttery buffalo. I added in cheese and a hard-boiled egg. I love hard-boiled eggs in my salad, but I do not like them by themselves. And I had an extra one that I made for salads, and we didn't use it, and it's been in the fridge, and I wanted to eat it before it was, not any good. And I just don't like them by themselves, like as a snack. So I don't normally add that into the buffalo chicken salad, but it's gonna be good. I think I did pretty good on the size of my salad. I have a problem when I'm building a plate, whether it's like a taco bar, salad, I'm trying to think of what else, but anything that you're kind of building your own, I tend to start out too big and it just becomes like mammoth. But my husband's not here to help me. Sometimes I'm like, will you do it for me? So it's all right, I can do it, I got this. Now we're gonna add in our buffalo chicken. And then I like to add bacon pieces, or just bacon, whatever. I'm using bacon pieces. There was a place we used to go that had a buffalo chicken wrap, And when the first time I got it, I was like, it came with bacon, and it was so good. So now I add bacon to anything that I can that has buffalo chicken. My dressing has thickened up a bit, sitting there, but that's okay. If I thin it out, then I'm gonna have to add more seasoning, so I'm just gonna go with it. It'll be fine. That is my simple and easy dinner tonight. Didn't dirty up too much, used up some stuff that was in the fridge, and it was quick and easy. I'm less motivated to cook when my husband's not here, so. All right, I'm gonna wrap up this video, but I did wanna let you know that I tried one of the muffins, and those are really good as well. So highly recommend both of those. I will have the links down in the description box for you if you wanna check them out. Also, my buffalo chicken salad was amazing. I mean, how could it not be? But I am kind of settling in, and since my hubby's away tonight, he's gonna be calling me soon, and we'll FaceTime probably for the rest of the evening, hang out, probably fold some laundry while I chat with him. But that's gonna do it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and say hello in the comments, even if it's just leaving me an emoji to let me know that you're here. I'm so glad you're here, but it's nice to kind of know who is here. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.